Welcome friends, in this video let's discuss about convention on migratory species. Before that, let's look at what is animal migration. Here animal migration is the relatively long distance movement of individual species, usually on a seasonal basis. Here the animals migrate through long distance on a seasonal basis. So it is found that all the major animal groups including birds, mammals, fish, reptiles, amphibians, insects and crustaceans undergoes migration. So the reason for migration may be local climate, local availability of the food, the season of the year, or for the reproductive purpose, that is the mating purposes, the migration may happen. So I will give an example here. The Siberian crane. Siberian crane is a bird species which is having habitat in Siberia, that is the northern part of Russia. So they migrate during the winter season from Russia to all the way to India to escape the harsh climatic condition during the winter season. So in India, since it is a tropical country, in the winter the climate is very mild for the Siberian crane to survive and also to undertake reproduction. So this is one of the reasons for animal migration. There are several reasons for several other species to undertake migration. So let's look at the Convention on Conservation of Migratory Species. So this is also called as Bonn Convention. It aims to conserve terrestrial, all the sectors of animal species, that is the terrestrial, marine, avian migratory species throughout their range. It was signed in 1979 and it is an intergovernmental treaty concluded under the aegis of United Nations Environment Programme. Important, please note that. And it is concerned with the conservation of wildlife and habitat on a global scale. There are 120 countries as signatories to the convention. So this is the only convention specialized in conservation of migratory species. So those species which migrate from one place to other for various reasons are conserved under this convention. Okay, and this convention complements and cooperates with a number of other international organizations including NGOs and partners with the media as well as the corporate sector for conserving the migratory species. So this is a very good move by the Convention on Migratory Species, and there are a lot of varied species are covered under this Convention on Migratory Species. These are included in Appendix 1 and Appendix 2 of the Convention. So in the Appendix 1, the threatened migratory species are included. Here, the migratory species threatened with extinction are listed in the Appendix 1. Okay, and the parties strive towards strictly protecting these animals. So these threatened animals and conserving or restoring the place where they live. Okay, and migrate, and it also mitigates the obstacles to migration. If there is any obstacle for the migration of the species from one place to another, they try to remove these obstacles to provide for safer movement of species from one place to another. And also it aims to conserve these migratory species during the course of their migration. So in the Appendix 2 includes the migratory species requiring international cooperation. Even though these species which are included in the Appendix 2 are not threatened or are not under danger, these species, if provided protection, it will significantly benefit these species. So international cooperation is needed to conserve these species, so they are included in the Appendix 2. So the convention is only a framework. Okay, it is only a framework, it's only a structure for the negotiations for the countries to conserve the migratory species. The actual implementation and legally binding documents are provided through agreements under the convention. So agreements are the documents which provide legally binding obligations on the member countries to conserve the migratory species. So there are two types of agreements here. One is called by the generic name agreement, which is legally binding, and second one is less formal agreement called Memorandum of Understanding. So this is informal agreement between the countries to conserve a particular species. Okay, first let's look at the agreements. There are a lot of agreements signed to protect various migratory species. These include the European bats. Okay, this agreement is called Eurobat, and second agreement is on Cretaceans of the Mediterranean Sea, Black Sea, and contiguous Atlantic area. This is called ACCOBAMS. And the third one is small Cretaceans of the Baltic Sea, Northeast Atlantic, Irish, and North Seas. So the fourth agreement is on the seals, okay, in the Wadden Sea. And the fifth one is African Eurasian Migratory Water Birds, AEWO. This is the one of the most important and famous agreement under Convention on Migratory Species, AWA. And there is a convention to conserve gorillas and their habitat as well. This is called Gorilla Agreement. These agreements are legally binding, unlike the Memorandum of Understanding. Here, Memorandum of Understanding are also signed between various countries, range countries. These include here for the migratory sharks and also Siberian crane, slender-billed curlew, grassland birds, Western African aquatic mammals, okay, and West African populations of the African elephant. So marine turtles of the Atlantic coast of Africa. So there are these memorandum of understanding are signed between the range countries through which these animals passes as part of their migration. Okay, so this memorandum of understanding including shark, crane, curlew birds. Okay, and here African elephant, turtles. So there are a wide range of signature and agreements made under this convention. So let's look at one of the memorandum of understanding for easy understanding of the convention here. The Siberian Crane Memorandum of Understanding came into effect in July 1993. So this was the first MOU to be concluded under the auspices of Convention on Migratory Species, also called as Bonn Convention. There are 12 range states for the Siberian crane. Range state is the area through which these bird species move as part of their migration. As I discussed earlier, these 12 species include Afghanistan, Azerbaijan, China, India, Iran, Japan, Kazakhstan, Mongolia, Pakistan, Russian Federation, Turkmenistan, and Uzbekistan. These are the 12 range countries. As of 2012, 11 range states have signed MOU. So this is the area where the Siberian crane range. Okay, so they move from northern colder climate to southern areas to undertake reproduction as well as to escape harsh climatic condition during the winter season. So this is the range as I discussed earlier. So they move from Kunwat Basin all the way to Bharatpur in India, passing through various regions of the world. So they move from various boundaries of the countries. So it needs international cooperation. So it is transboundary movement. It needs international cooperation. For this, the Convention on Migratory Species is providing a legally framework for conserving these species. Okay. So thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel, and for the old videos please click here. It will be redirected to all the environment and ecology series videos.